My friends, let me tell you something powerful today. Success does not come to those who wait, wish, or wonder. It comes to those who take action. And sometimes you won't feel like it. You won't feel ready. But that's when you must force yourself, because if you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. Some people sit and hope for a miracle. They pray for luck. But luck doesn't change lives. Action does. You don't get fit by reading a fitness book. You don't build wealth by wishing for it. And you don't grow by staying comfortable. The only way to move forward is to get up and do the work, whether you feel like it or not. You see, discipline is the bridge between thinking and achieving, and discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Some days you won't be motivated. Some days you won't have the energy, but those are the days that count the most, because every time you push yourself beyond your comfort, you stretch your capacity. Now, I've met people who say, I want to start a business. And you ask them when, and they say soon. But soon is a lie we tell ourselves to justify action. The future isn't created by what you say you'll do tomorrow. It's built by what you force yourself to do right now. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. All you need is a decision. The secret to success is simple. Momentum beats motivation. Motivation is like a match. It burns bright but fades fast. Momentum, however, is unstoppable. The hardest part is starting. But once you get moving, you'll wonder why you ever waited. And let me tell you something about pain, because success is not about avoiding pain, it's about choosing the right kind of pain. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. You can suffer the discomfort of action now, or the agony of what if later. And let me warn you, regret is the most expensive pain in the world. Now, I want to talk about the biggest thief of all excuses. The mind is brilliant at finding reasons to delay. I'm too tired. I'm too busy. I'll start next week. But these are nothing but lies. If you let excuses win today, they'll own you tomorrow. So what do? You kill them. You shut them down, because the truth is you already have everything you need to start. You don't need more knowledge, more motivation, or more time. You need to force yourself to get up, force yourself to push, force yourself to act even when you don't feel like it. The greatest achievers in history were not the most talented. They were the most relentless. They were the ones who moved when others hesitated. They were the ones who forced themselves forward when everyone else made excuses. So today I challenge you, push yourself, move forward, take action, because the life you want is waiting, it's running. And if you don't chase it, it will slip away. Ideas are everywhere. You hear them in conversations, you see them in books, you watch them in videos. Every day someone has a brilliant thought, a moment of inspiration, a dream of something greater. But here's the truth, ideas by themselves are worthless. They don't build businesses, they don't create wealth, they don't change lives. What makes the difference? Action. And action doesn't just happen, it must be forced into existence. Now, people often believe they will take action when they feel ready. They wait for motivation to strike, for energy to surge, for the perfect time to arrive. But waiting is the enemy. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting forever, because motivation is unreliable. Some mornings you'll wake up fired up, ready to go. The other days you'll wake up sluggish, uninspired. If your progress depends on how you feel, then your success will be inconsistent at best, non-existent at worst. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the bridge between thoughts and results. It is what forces action even when you don't feel like it. It doesn't ask how you're feeling. It doesn't care if you're in the mood. It doesn't wait for permission. It simply commands you to move. Without discipline, even the best ideas die in the mind. With it, even the simplest actions compound into greatness. I've seen people with incredible ideas that could change their lives. Ideas that could create wealth, impact, success. And yet those ideas remain trapped in notebooks, hidden in conversations, locked away in their minds. Why? Because they never take the next step. They never act. They hesitate, they overthink, they talk themselves out of it. And the opportunity fades. What's even more tragic is that someone else with half the talent and a fraction of the idea takes action and wins. Not because they were better, not because they were smarter, but because they had the discipline to move when others hesitated. Action is the great separator. Two people can have the same dream, the same knowledge, the same potential. But the one who forces themselves to take action, even when it's hard, will leave the other behind every time. And let's talk about that word force, because that's what it takes. There will be days when you don't want to do it. Days when your mind tries to convince you to wait, to rest, to put it off. That's when you must force yourself. You don't negotiate, you don't debate, you move. You take the first step, even if it's small, even if it's uncomfortable. Because action breeds momentum, and momentum makes the next step easier. And think about the people who have built extraordinary success. They weren't always motivated. They didn't always feel like doing the work. But they had the discipline to show up again and again until their results spoke for themselves. They built the bridge between their ideas and their reality, one disciplined action at a time. The problem is, most people never build that bridge. They get stuck on one side, full of dreams, full of plans, full of potential, but never reaching the other side where results live. They read books, they take courses, they talk about their goals, but they never step onto the bridge. And time keeps passing. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. And before they know it, they're looking back at a life filled with could-haves and should-haves. So how do you ensure you don't end up in that same trap? You commit to action, not just when it's easy, not just when you feel like it, but especially when you don't. You create habits that override your emotions. You train yourself to move forward regardless of how you feel. Because once discipline takes over, you no longer rely on motivation, you rely on momentum. The beauty of discipline is that it makes action automatic. At first, it's hard. At first, you have to fight against your own resistance. But over time, as you consistently force yourself to act, it becomes second nature. You don't think about whether you should do it, you just do it. And once you reach that point, success is inevitable. So ask yourself, what have you been putting off? What ideas have been sitting in your mind waiting for the right time? The truth is, the right time is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, because every day you delay, you push your results further away. The world doesn't reward ideas. It rewards execution. The people who force themselves to take action, even in the face of doubt, fear, and uncertainty, are the ones who win. They don't just think about success, they bridge the gap and make it real. And you can too. But it starts with a decision. The decision to stop waiting. The decision to start moving. The decision to force yourself to take action no matter what. Because success isn't a matter of luck or talent. It's a matter of discipline. The discipline to take the first step, and then the next, and then the next, until your results speak louder than your excuses. Most people live with the illusion of time. They believe they have plenty of it. They say, I'll do it tomorrow, as if tomorrow is guaranteed. They say, I'll start next week, as if next week will be any different from today. And so they push their dreams further and further away, thinking they can always start later. But here's the truth: later is a lie. The only moment you ever truly own is now. If you study successful people, you'll notice a pattern. They don't wait for the perfect time. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't wait for circumstances to align in their favor. They start now. They understand that action today creates results tomorrow. They know that if they hesitate, if they delay, if they let procrastination sink its claws into them, they will lose momentum. And their dreams will slip further and further away. Too many people are stuck in the cycle of someday. They say, someday I'll get in shape. Someday I'll start my business. Someday I'll work on my goals. But someday never comes. Someday is a dream killer. Someday is an excuse disguised as hope. And before they know it, years have passed, and they're still in the same place, still making the same excuses, still waiting for the right time that never arrives. If you want to change your life, you must understand one thing: your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. If you don't take action today, nothing changes. The dream remains a dream. The goal remains a wish, and you remain stuck exactly where you are. Now, you might say, but I don't feel ready. And that's the problem. Most people believe they need to feel ready before they act. They think they need more knowledge, more confidence, more time. But readiness is an illusion. No one ever feels ready for success. No one ever feels ready to step into the unknown. The people who win in life are the ones who act despite their doubts, despite their fears, despite their uncertainty. And think about the person who wants to start a business. They have an idea, they have a vision, but instead of taking action, they spend months, sometimes years, researching, planning, and preparing. And while they're waiting for the perfect moment, someone else with half their knowledge and half their preparation goes out and starts. And guess who wins? The one who started, because success doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. The same applies to every area of life. People wait to get in shape until they have time. They wait to learn a new skill until they feel motivated. They wait to make a change until they feel ready. But waiting is a trap. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Every day you delay is another day lost. And before you know it, you're looking back, wondering where all the time went. You don't need more time. You don't need better circumstances. You don't need permission. You need to take action right here, right now. You need to decide that today is the day. And not because the conditions are perfect, but because they never will be. The moment you start, you begin to build momentum, and momentum is what creates progress. Now, let's talk about the real reason people delay taking action. It's not just procrastination, it's fear of failure, fear of looking foolish. Fear of stepping into the unknown. But here's what you need to understand. Fear doesn't disappear before you start. It disappears because you start. The only way to silence fear is to prove to yourself that you can do it. And the only way to prove it is through action. Successful people aren't fearless. They feel the same fears as everyone else, but they don't let fear paralyze them. They take action despite the fear. They understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward in spite of it. So ask yourself, what have you been putting off? What goals have you been delaying? What dreams have you been postponing, waiting for the right time? The right time is a myth. The only time is now. Think about this. 5 years from now, you will arrive somewhere. The question is, where? Will you be exactly where you are today, still making the same excuses, still waiting for the right moment? Or will you look back and see a trail of progress, a life that changed because you made the decision to take action now instead of waiting? Every day you waste is a day you never get back. Every day you delay is a step further from your dream. Every day you hesitate, you lose momentum. But every day you take action, you build something. You create progress. You move closer to your goals. Success is not complicated. It is simply the result of small, consistent actions taken over time. But those actions must start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because tomorrow is never promised. And the only way to create a future you're proud of is to take action in the present. The decision is yours. You can wait. You can delay. You continue to tell yourself that you'll start later. But later is the lie that keeps people stuck. Or you can make the choice that changes everything. The choice to move. The choice to act. The choice to create your future starting right now. Because in the end, success is simple. It belongs to those who refuse to wait. Most people believe that success comes from motivation. They think that if they could just find the right video, the right book, the right speech, they would suddenly feel a surge of energy that would push them to take action. But that's the problem. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. Some days you wake up feeling inspired, ready to take on the world. Other days you wake up tired, sluggish, uninspired. If your success depends on whether or not you feel motivated, then you will never be consistent. And without consistency, success is impossible. Motivation is like a spark. It's bright, it's exciting, but it burns out quickly. And if all you do is chase that spark, you'll be left in the dark the moment it fades. The real secret to success is not motivation, it's momentum. Momentum is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. It's what pushes you forward when you don't feel like doing the work. It's the force that turns small, repeated actions into unstoppable progress. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They believe need motivation to start. They wait for that perfect moment when they feel ready. But that's the biggest mistake you can make. Because the truth is, motivation doesn't come first, action does. Action is what creates motivation, not the other way around. When you force yourself to start, even when you don't feel like it, something incredible happens. You begin to build momentum. And once momentum kicks in, everything gets easier. You think about it like this: pushing a car from a dead stop is hard. You strain, you struggle, and at first it barely moves. But the more you push, the more it starts rolling. And once it's moving, it takes far less effort to keep it going. The same is true for success. The hardest part is getting started. But once you start, even with small steps, you begin to build momentum. And once you have momentum, success becomes inevitable. But here's the catch: momentum only works if you stay consistent. And consistency requires discipline. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation runs out. It's what separates those who achieve their goals from those who can just dream about them. It's the ability to take action no matter how you feel. When you are disciplined, you don't wake up and ask yourself if you feel like doing the work. You just do it. Because you've trained yourself to act, regardless of your emotions. This is why people who rely on motivation always struggle. They work hard when they feel inspired, but the moment that feeling fades, they stop. And every time they stop, they lose momentum. They have to start over again and again, constantly searching for the next spark of motivation, never making real progress. But the people who win, they don't stop. They don't slow down. They push forward even on the days they don't feel like it. They understand that success isn't about how you feel, it's about what you do. Now, you might be wondering, how do you build momentum if you don't feel like starting? The answer is simple. Take the smallest possible action. If you want to start working out but don't feel like it, tell yourself you'll just do 5 minutes. If you want to start a business but feel overwhelmed, commit to working on it for just 10 minutes. What happens? Once you start, you usually keep going, because the hardest part is always the first step. This is why daily habits are so powerful. When you commit to small daily actions, you remove the need for motivation. You don't rely on how you feel, you just do it. And over time, those small actions add up to massive results. This is how momentum is built, not with huge, occasional bursts of effort, but with small, consistent steps taken every single day. Look at anyone who has achieved success in any area of business, fitness, relationships, personal growth. They all have one thing in common. They keep going, even when they don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, because they know that momentum is their greatest ally. So the question is, where in your life are you waiting for motivation? Where are you delaying action because you don't feel ready? Whatever it is, stop waiting. Start now. Even if it's small. Even if it's uncomfortable. Because once you take that first step, you create momentum. And once you have momentum, nothing can stop you. You don't need more motivation. You need more action. The moment you start, everything changes. Life is a series of choices, and each choice carries a consequence. Whether you realize it or not, every decision you make is shaping your future. And when it comes to success, there are only 2 types of pain you will ever experience: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference: the pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. Discipline is not always easy. It requires effort, sacrifice, and persistence. Waking up early, pushing yourself to do the work, staying consistent when you don't feel like it. These things are uncomfortable. There's no denying that discipline comes with a cost. But here's what most people fail to understand: the cost of discipline is nothing compared to the cost of regret. Regret is heavy. Regret lingers. Regret haunts you in the quiet moments when you look back and realize you could have done more, you could have tried harder, you could have started sooner. It's the pain of knowing you had the opportunity, but you let it slip away. It's the pain of looking in the mirror and seeing a version of yourself that settled for less because you weren't willing to endure a little discomfort. Now think about this. Discipline is difficult, but it is predictable. You know exactly what it demands from you. If you want to be in shape, discipline requires you to exercise and eat right. If you want to build a business, discipline requires you to work on it consistently, even when results are slow. If you want to improve your life, discipline requires you to do the things you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. It may be challenging, but it is straightforward. You always know what needs to be done. Regret, on the other hand, is unpredictable and far more painful. It sneaks up on you. It doesn't hit you immediately. It builds over time. One day you wake up and you realize years have passed. The dreams you once had are now distant memories. The opportunities you once had are gone. And there's no going back. You can't rewind time. You can't undo an action. All you are left with is the pain of knowing you wasted your potential. So the real question is, which pain will you choose? Because there is no escaping pain. Either you suffer the discomfort of discipline now, or you suffer the agony of regret later. One makes you stronger. One leaves you broken. The problem is that most people choose short-term comfort over long-term fulfillment. They avoid discipline because it feels hard in the moment. They choose to sleep instead of waking up early to work on their goals. They choose to watch TV instead of improving their skills. They choose to take the easy route because it feels good now. But every time you choose comfort over discipline, you are choosing regret in the future. You just don't see it yet. The truth is, discipline is the key to freedom. The more disciplined you are today, the more choices you will have tomorrow. If you are disciplined with your finances, you will have financial freedom. If you are disciplined with your health, you will have energy and vitality. If you are disciplined in your work, you will have success. But if you lack discipline, life will make choices for you, and you won't like them? If you are not disciplined with money, you will struggle financially. If you are not disciplined with your health, you will face illness and fatigue. If you're not disciplined with your goals, you will watch others succeed while you wonder what went wrong. Every action you take is either moving you toward discipline or toward regret. There is no neutral ground. Every choice you make, whether big or small, is shaping your future. The good news: you get to decide. You are in control. So what do? You start choosing discipline today. You stop waiting to feel like it. You stop making excuses. You take action even when it's hard. You remind yourself that the discomfort of discipline is always better than the suffering of regret. There will be days when you don't feel like doing the work. There will be times when discipline feels exhausting. But when those moments come, ask yourself this: do I want the pain of effort today or the pain of regret tomorrow? Because one way or another, you will experience pain. The only difference is that one pain leads to success while the other leads to disappointment. The choice is yours. Will you choose the temporary struggle of discipline or the lifelong burden of regret? One will test you, but it will also transform you. The other will comfort you now, but destroy you later. Choose wisely. Success is not an accident. It is not the result of luck, good fortune, or being in the right place at the right time. Success is the outcome of consistent, disciplined action repeated over time. And the truth is, the habits you build today will determine the life you live tomorrow. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are reinforcing certain behaviors. You are either creating habits that move you closer to success or habits that hold you back. There is no in between. Your daily actions are shaping your future, and the small choices you make every single day are the foundation of either greatness or mediocrity. Most people underestimate the power of small habits. They believe that success comes from big, dramatic actions. They think they need to make massive changes overnight to see results. But that's not how success works. Success is built through small, consistent habits that compound over time. Just like a single drop of water doesn't seem like much, but over years it can carve through solid rock. The small things you do daily will eventually determine the course of your life. I think about someone who wants to get in shape. They don't need to spend hours in the gym on day one. They don't need to follow a perfect diet immediately. All they need to do is start small and stay consistent. Maybe it's 10 push-ups a day. Maybe it's cutting out sugary drinks. At first, these changes seem insignificant. But over weeks, months, and years, they add up. The person who sticks to small, positive habits every day will achieve more than the person who tries to make a drastic change all at once and gives up after a few weeks. This applies to every area of life: your career, your relationships, your health, your finances. The small things you do daily will either set you up for success or leave you stuck in the same place year after year. The problem is that most people don't recognize the power of these small decisions. They don't realize that skipping a workout today, spending an extra hour on social media, or procrastinating on a task might seem harmless in the moment, but over time these small choices become habits that shape their entire future. If you want to transform your life, you must master your habits. You must intentionally build habits that serve you and eliminate those that don't. Because here's the reality: your habits will either make you or break you. There is no way around it. Now, you might be thinking, how do I start building better habits? The answer is simple: start small, but start now. Too many people wait for the perfect time to change. They wait for New Year's. They wait until they feel motivated. They wait for life to slow down, but waiting is just another form of procrastination. The perfect time will never come. The best time to start is right now. Even if it's just one small step, take it today. If you want to build better habits, make them easy to start. If you want to read more, don't commit to reading an entire book. Commit to reading 1 page a day. If you want to exercise, don't plan an intense 2-hour workout. Commit to just 5 minutes. The key is to lower the resistance in starting. Because once you start, momentum takes over, and before you know it, small actions turn into powerful habits. But just as good habits compound over time, so do bad habits. And this is where most people go wrong. They don't pay attention to the small, negative habits that creep into their lives. They don't realize that hitting the snooze button every morning is reinforcing the habit of procrastination. They don't see that skipping one workout makes it easier to skip the next one. They don't recognize that spending hours scrolling through social media is stealing time from their goals. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people is not some huge gap in talent or ability. It is simply this: successful people are intentional about their habits. They take control of their daily actions. They don't leave their success up to chance. They design habits that push them forward while others let their habits hold them back. And here's the most important part: your habits are a reflection of your identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, your habits will reinforce that belief. But if you start telling yourself, I am the kind of person who takes action, I am the kind of person who follows through, I am the kind of person who does what needs to be done no matter what, then your habits will begin to align with that new identity. Everything you want to achieve is on the other side of consistent action. It's not about taking massive leaps. It's about taking small, daily steps in the right direction. It's about building habits that support your success instead of sabotaging it. Because in the end, success is not one big moment. It is the result of the small things you do every single day. So take control of your habits now. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose consistency over excuses. Choose small, intentional actions over waiting for motivation. Because your future is not determined by what you do once in a while. It is determined by what you do every single day. At the end of the day, success is not about luck, talent, or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about forcing yourself to take action even when you don't feel like it. It's about moving forward even when the path is unclear. It's about choosing discipline over comfort, momentum over hesitation, and small, daily progress over waiting for motivation to strike. The truth is, no one is coming to push you. No one is going to do the work for you. You are responsible for your life, your future, and your success. And every day you have a choice to take action or to make excuses, to build habits that push you forward, or to allow bad habits to hold you back, to embrace the discomfort of discipline, or to suffer the weight of regret. If you want more out of life, you must demand more from yourself. You must stop waiting, stop delaying, and stop hoping that things will change on their own. You must act, because nothing happens until you do. So what are you going to do at this moment? Will you let it pass by like all the others, telling yourself you'll start later? Or will you make the decision, the one decision that changes everything, to take action now? Because the truth is, the life you want is possible. But only if you stop waiting and start moving. The choice is yours.